Hello, it's Kelly here, Animal Instinct. Welcome to my channel. I'm here for my 17th Flosstube video today, a general stitchy update on today's Saturday, the 20th of June 2020. It's a miserable day here in Adelaide, so I'm hoping the light will hold out while I film. Thanks for stopping by. If you're new, I hope you enjoy my video, and if you watch regularly, thank you very much. I had a big surprise since my last video. I was not expecting it, never would have thought it would happen, but I have made it to 1,000 subscribers, which kind of blows my mind. So thank you so much. I enjoy doing this for myself anyway. It's a good fun way to keep track of, sort of have a video diary, I guess, of my stitching hobby. But to know that 1,000 people might be somewhat interested is great too. It gives me more incentive to keep going. Now, what have we got today? Oh, so I did want to say that I definitely want to do a giveaway. However, I am absolutely unprepared. So you'll just have to stay tuned for something in coming videos. I've got a bit on my plate at the moment, but I do want to sort of acknowledge this milestone. So today is my first stitchy update, I think, since May finished, and I was working on one whip every day for a different whip every day throughout May. So it's been about 3 weeks, I think. I don't know. But I do have plenty to show. I've got some fully finished objects, some FFOs. That's pretty rare for me, so you're in for a treat. I've got one finish. I've got a few whips and some haul. I've kind of, I don't know, my stitchy bug's been wavering a little bit the last few weeks. I think because I had that set plan in May, I felt a little bit lost. And that combined with just sort of craziness going on in my life right now, yeah, I'm struggling a little bit, but I have tried to fix that, remedy that with a new start, so I'll show you that in a bit. But I'll show you my fully finished stuff to start with. So I think last time I showed I'd finished stitching P-Roy by Stacey Nash Primitives in her Animal Crackers series. I think P-Roy is supposed to be like a needle keep. There's a photo of his backside with a piece of felt, a heart of felt sewn on, I think to keep your needle. I don't really have any fun felt and I'm not going to do that, but I did make him into a little stuffed toy, I guess, ornament, toy. So here he is. He's very rustic. I definitely need some practice on my sewing machine, but that's okay. I'm really happy with how he turned out. So you can see his very lovely bow tie there. And I just used the same linen that I stitched him with on the back. And I put the two sides together and I just used my sewing machine, left a hole so I could push it back out the right way, and stuffed him with crushed walnut shells and hand sewed up the little hole that was left over. But he's great. So the fabric is R&R linen. It's their Stars Hollow blend on 32 count. I have this picture in my head that he needs a friend, so I feel like I might stitch another version in the future, maybe on a different count of fabric, make him a bit smaller. Him, her, I haven't decided yet. But I think P-Roy could do with a friend. So pretty stoked with that little finish. He's very cute. Now, I had a few things I was working on during May where I was kind of close to finishing stitching, and I did finish the stitching on my Crossed Wing Collection Chipping Sparrow Bisque Nest. I just saw Amy Loves Toads has also just finished off her biscornest too, so I thought that's funny timing. We've both done it together without realising. It's a great pattern. I think I've got photos of when I'd finished the stitching and I'd cut out the pieces. If I do, I'll pop them in here. But this is the final product. Little biscornu. So except for the eggs, all the stitching is done 2/2 on 28 count linen. Doesn't really matter what colour you use because it's full coverage. And then the eggs are stitched 1 strand of floss over 1, so it gives it that nice sort of texture. And I've just used little bead to pull it in together to make it into that biscornu shape. Really enjoyed it. I have the next one, I can't remember what type of bird it is, but yeah, I'm keen to get that underway. Now you'll see on the front page of the pattern, there's also a scissor fob. I didn't want to make a scissor fob, but I kind of liked the idea of that's the portrait of the chipping sparrow whose nest it is. So I ended up stitching it up. Again, I think I've got a photo. It's very small, and I was going to turn it into just a sort of a little flat ornament, but I ended up making it into a little biscornu as well. I've just heard my chair creaking. I'm so sorry. I'll try not to wobble around too much on it because it's an annoying noise. Anyway, look at this little thing. I deliberately didn't put anything in the center to pull it together because I didn't really want to detract from the stitching. So this outside border, 2/2, again on the same fabric, the 28 count linen, and the back also is all 2/2 crosses, but it's hard to show. The little border and the background and the bird are all 1/1, so teeny tiny. In comparison to the other one, it is quite small. I don't really know how I'll display them, but really happy with that. So my little miniature portrait of a chipping sparrow biscornu with the biscornest. Right, so it was actually fun. I just I was procrastinating. I have a big assignment coming up, and I just wanted to do something different, so I went and sat in my craft room and did all of those in one afternoon. I think it was last weekend. So what's next? I feel like out of practice because I haven't done a normal stitchy update for a while. I have a finish. So if you've been watching me for a while, it's pretty much, I think, since I started my Flosstube channel, I've been working on the Lakeside Needlecraft Woodland SAL, designed by Doreen Jones. It's a year-long SAL with a different animal released every month for 12 months. And we got the last creature. It was not what I expected, but I love it. And which also means, ta-da, I'm not very good at revealing finishes, but I have finished the whole thing. But the last one was this little hedgehog. So he's pretty cute. So it's on 32 count fabric flare even weave. It's just DMC 2/2. Did I just say it's called Woodland, the colour of the fabric? It's getting a bit shadowy in here. But yeah, we started with the owl, and that's what drew me in. As soon as I saw it, I knew that I'd like that style of stitching. And then I've somehow managed to keep up with it the whole for the whole year. I think it's beautiful. No idea what I'll do with it. Not sure. But I am pretty happy that I finished it. So I've just got 4 whips since my last video, which feels strange, seeing how many I worked on during May. The first one is my temperature tree by the Stitching Mummy. If I've got a photo, I'll pop in where I was. I do feel really out of practice, so please excuse me. But this is where we're up to. It's been rolled up. I'm stitching this one in hand. So every leaf is a different day of the year, and the colour for each leaf is based on the maximum temperature here in Adelaide. So we started in January, February, March, April, May, into June. I think I'm about a week behind, so I reckon I'll probably just finish up that week this afternoon. So it's really interesting to watch it come along. The colours are not turning out how I thought they might in my mind. But yeah, it's really interesting. And it's actually made me take more notice of the weather and the temperatures, and thinking, oh, if it only hits that temperature, that means I'll get to stitch in a different colour. I'm using the hot colour range. Sarah's kindly provided, I think it's 4 different ranges for sort of so you can tailor them to your climate. So there's one for really cold weather, there's one for sort of extremes where it gets hot and cold, there's like a standard one, and then there's the hot one, which is definitely best suited for our climate, although it's not very hot at the moment. So that's that one. Next up, I worked on my Stioch. So Stioch is a husband and wife designer team, and they do stitch alongs usually once a year. Usually mystery stitch alongs where you don't really know what you're stitching week by week. This year they changed it a little bit and released the like the final, or images of the final product before we started. So we all knew, we were going to be stitching House from the TV show House, and a little saying, it's like a little house sampler, bless this house. So I think I did show it on a previous video, and I had selected 18 count Aida. Well, there's quite a few fractional stitches on this piece, and it was really hard to make them work on 18 count Aida. There's a particular stitch, I think they call it the long diagonal, which is something I haven't done before, and you really need you need Aida, because you need there's the 4 strand, I think it's 4 strands each way, or 3 strands each way, whatever it is, but you need to be able to put your needle between particular strands. So on the 18 count it was just too little. I couldn't get them to sit nicely, so I started over just with some plain 16 count Aida, and I'm a little bit behind. I don't know if you can hear that. Jemima wants to come in, but the cats are locked out of here because Reggie's beautiful. He cannot be trusted. He's my little kitten. Hang on a second. Sorry for that interruption. Cats. Where was I? Stioch along, 16 count Aida. Yes, I started over. I'm a little bit behind. So far, the only thing left to be released, which will come out tomorrow, is the back stitching on the face. I've still got the text to go and the background to finish, but I have done all the stitching on his face. So there was no set sort of floss colours. They just wanted you to pick 6 from light to dark, sort of that contrasted well. And then I ended up adding in, it looks weird close up, but the pupils of his eyes I added in a blue colour. So it'll say bless this house here, and I need to finish the border, and the back stitching will come out tomorrow. So I might get this done soon, hopefully. Sorry for interruptions today. Cats. Who'd have them?
We find ourselves in at the moment, that we are working together to put in place protections to make sure that we can assist Australians to get to the other side of this pandemic.
Sarah, agree with something.
Okay, my next whip is my Teresa Wentzler's Tradewinds. I'll pop a photo in of where I was. I last worked on this during Mania. And I finished up the stitching. There's that squeaky chair, sorry. I finished up the stitching on this panel, all the cross stitching anyway. I've done a bit of the back stitch. I don't think the light's not, you can't really see it properly. Now her face does look a bit weird. I wasn't happy with some of the back stitching, so it's kind of, I've snipped it. I'm in the process of pulling some of it out. I want to redo it, so she looks a bit odd at the moment. But that panel is pretty much done, so happy with that. And then my last whip, which is actually, it's a new start, kind of like my stitchy bugs struggling right now. There's a lot going on. Anyway, I had a look through my stash, and I have had this kit for ages, and it just spoke to me, kind of is pretty apt for this year. But I made a start on Atomic Garden 149, don't really know what the numbering is, by Carissa Rose. It's a Gecko Rouge kit. I'm doing it on 25 count even weave using 1 strand of floss. It's got 75 colours. There's the colours, and then there's a big bag of the this colour, which is actually a dark blue. But yeah, I thought it was pretty appropriate for this year. So I've just made a small start on this one. Here we go. Okay, so that over there. That's everything that I've been working on. Now I've got some haul, so I guess this is haul from the end of April, all of May, and up until now in June. So it's like 2 and a bit months worth of haul, but it's more than I really needed. It's one of those stress purchasing things, I think. Where should I start? So I saw this pattern. I got this pattern. I liked this from Nashville this year. Kathy Barrick, sorry, I do know her name. BR's Moth. Now I really like what it's stitched on too. The called for fabric is Weeks Dye Works Havana. If I say Havana, it sounds American. Havana. But I couldn't really find that easily, So I went for a little look-see to see what else I might be able to find, and I ended up purchasing my first fabric from XG Designs, and I got this piece of linen. It's 32 count Belfast linen, and it's called Desert Sand, and it looks like it'll be a good fit with the Havana. So I have not even thought about floss or anything yet. That's for later. That's number one. Now I couldn't just buy one piece of fabric, that would have been silly. So I got a couple more. I got another piece of 32 count Belfast linen. This is chalkboard. And then this one really jumped out at me. This is a piece of 20 count Aida called Red Passion. It is so bright. Actually, it's not so bright, it's just so red. I have no idea what I want to stitch on this. If anyone has any ideas, let me know. It's really beautiful. And then I just thought I'd try one more just for funsies. This is 56 count Zweigart Kingston linen in marbled apple. So a pretty green. Actually, the colours are coming out pretty well in this weird light. How about that? So this is, yeah, 56 count. I mean, you won't be able to see, but it is teeny tiny. So if I did one strand of floss over two, that'll be the same as 28 count. It's only a small piece. Again, open to recommendations, suggestions, what I could potentially stitch on that. Now, when I bought the moth pattern, I also couldn't help myself and got Huckleberry Farm. I just think it's really pretty. It's got some interesting animals that you don't see on other pieces. The bears mainly. Again, I don't really have real plans for starting this, but I did get, no, I already had some fabric. I already had this piece of colour and cotton. It's 40 count linen in Desert Taupe. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. So I'll stitch it on that when I get to stitching it. And then I did get some of the hand-dyed flosses for it. I think it calls for a mix of these plus DMC. I haven't checked my stash to see what DMC I still need, but there's a selection of goodies here. So there's Weeks, Gentle Arts, and Classic Colourworks. So I think they'll look nice on the Desert Taupe. You can't see that very well. It's okay. It's all good. You'll be okay. XG Designs. Sorry, she also included some silk, the beautiful teal silk. So really happy with that purchase. I think I'll probably be a repeat customer. Lucky last, I think. I couldn't help myself and I had to buy the new Lindy Stitches bird sampler. I think it's called Beautiful Things. this one? Oh. I think it's so pretty. I love it. Love it. So I also had some fabric already for that one. And it is Jay's X Stitch Mulberries. And it's 36 count linen. Yep, just like that. Now it calls for a mix again of hand-dyed, over-dyed flosses. Looks like they're all, I can't remember if I got all of them, if I could get all of them. Anyway, classic Colourworks. Plus a heap of DMC. And again, I haven't been through my stash to get the DMC out to see what I need. But actually, that is what I'm planning on starting. So in 2 weeks, my uni studies will be finished for the semester, and I'll have, I think, 4 weeks of no study. It's my first break since the start of the year, and I'm hoping I can take some holidays from work as well. I'm hoping to have a staycation for a week. There's a few things going on though, so I'm not entirely sure if I'll still be able to take that time off, but I really need it. And if I do, I will start that one. I think that's everything. So, yep, there's a mess, but I can't see anything I haven't shown. With that, P-Roy and I will say thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again next time. See ya.